Good morning. I am making something kind of cool, and this is the first time I've really done this, so I don't know how well it's going to turn out. But Christy gave me some soft pretzel mix right from up there in Pennsylvania, and I have one of my favorite books here called Walter the Baker, and I'll read that to you a little bit later. But in Walter the Baker, the king tries to challenge him to make some kind of a new roll that the sun would shine through 3 times. And I think you probably can already see what it's gonna end up being. And so that's one of the coolest things. This is supposedly the story of how pretzels got invented. So I'm gonna just work on this. I've made my yeast and been my dough, and I had yeast. It's been rising for about an hour, and I am going to take the dough and try to cut it into pieces and make pretzels. And then I've got my pans over here, parchment paper already on them because those pans are the pits. And I'll show you what they look like. And I took the dough out and I kneaded it a little bit. My counter has vegetable oil spray on there, and then I cut it. It said to cut it into 11. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. Mine will probably be a little bigger anyway. I took a couple and added them to the ones that seemed a little smaller. Now I'm going to roll them out and see if I can make a pretzel. Okay, so now I've got it. Rolled out in a big old long snake. This is like Play-Doh, and then I'm going to try to twist it into a pretzel shape. Well, there we go. There's my. Okay, so I made them now. Got 9 pretzels, and it said to sprinkle with salt if we want to, and there was like a package of that yummy salt in there. Woo, I'm about to drop the camera. So I'm going to put salt on some of them, and then I've got, oops, not the best at this. And then I've got some cinnamon and sugar that I'm going to put on some of the other ones when I take them out of the oven. I'm going to brush them all with butter, but I'm going to put cinnamon and sugar mixture on the other pan because I like sweet ones. But these look awfully good. I've got, here's the cinnamon and sugar. I'll put that on when I bring the other ones out. So getting ready to put them in the oven, and I just bake them for 5 minutes at 350. So we'll see what they look like. Okay, they're in there now. My oven's not that clean. Oh well. Okay, so the pretzels are out of the oven. I had a little emergency. I was completely out of butter, and so I just went and borrowed some from my neighbor while these were cooking, and it is melting in the microwave. And because I want to put melted butter on the top of the pretzels, and then the ones that are so let's see if I can do this. And so here they are all done, and I've got the salt ones on that side and the cinnamon sugar ones on that side, and I'm getting ready to read the story, Walter the Baker by Eric Carle. Hey, this is Miss Campbell, and I'm reading one of my favorite stories, which I say that about everything, but this is called Walter the Baker by Eric Carle. And if you look on the front, you see there's Walter, and there's his kitty cat, and you see a basket of bread right down here. And then right here, that makes me think of, have you ever been in one of those pizza places where they have a big stone oven? That's the kind of thing they use to get the pizza in and out of the oven. And look at him, he's got like a baker's cap on. And the setting of this is kind of long ago. And look right here, there's some Eric Carle art. And here is Walter the Baker, the title page. And the sun ends up being a really important part of the story. I'm not going to spill the beans. If I showed you the back cover, it would spill the beans. So I am not showing you the back cover yet. And here is, I love this. This is sort of funny to me because I don't think Eric Carle meant to do this, but this was just a Miss Campbell thing. But if you look right there, it looks like it says y'all, which I am sure that I don't know what the AL stands for right there. We'll see if we can figure it out. But you look right here. Here is Walter the baker, and it really does look like one of those. It's probably a wood burning oven, and there he is getting his stuff out. And then there's where his wife probably sells the baked goods through the window, and there's a customer, and there's his gray cat, and there goes a guy. So here we go. This is called a thatched roof. You hear about thatched roofs sometimes. Okay, here's the kingdom. And it says, long ago, in a town encircled by a wall, lived Walter the baker, his wife Anna, and their son Walter Jr. So I'm guessing that might be Walter Jr. right there. Wife Anna, Walter. And I love the castle and the town. Makes me think of Duke and Christy used to have a Playmobil set where they built a castle. I just love castles. Castles are fun to make. On the beach with Legos. So many ways to make castles. You could make a castle. Oh, here we go. Look at this oven. Walter the baker was known even outside of the walls of the town. He was the best baker in the whole duchy. And so the duchy is kind of like the state or the county. Every morning while everybody else was still asleep, Walter began baking his breads, rolls, cookies, tarts, and pies. And this picture always intrigues me. The cat, it looks like the thing that's probably like the way Walter controls the air coming in and out of his oven, but it looks like the cat's a wind-up toy. And look at some of the things that he's got. A whole basket of eggs, and then that looks like some bread maybe rising right there. And then there's the fire, and then there's the oven. It's a brick oven. Anna sold the baked goods in the store. No one could resist the warm, sweet smells drifting from Walter's bakery. People came from near and far. Oh my goodness. The Duke and Duchess, who ruled over the duchy, loved Walter's sweet rolls. Every morning, Walter Jr. carried a basket full of warm sweet rolls to the castle where they lived. So there he is. Makes me think of like Cinnabon or Krispy Kreme. Oh, warm sweet rolls. It's like Krispy Kreme with the light on. Said the Duchess, spreading quince jelly on her roll. And quince is a kind of fruit. Ah, said the Duke, putting honey on his. And so each day was the same as the day before. Until one early morning, and he's the Duke, not Duke, my son. I love that. Oh my goodness. When Walter's cat was chasing a mouse and tipped over the can of milk, "What will I do?" cried Walter. "I cannot make sweet rolls without fresh milk." In desperation, Walter grabbed a pitcher of water. "I hope nobody will notice the difference," he said, as he poured water into the flour to make the dough. So he's trying to figure out a win-win situation. Little situation, kitty cat got that milk. Look, there's a mouse over there. Oh my goodness. Now you and I may not be able to tell the difference between a roll made with water and one made with milk, but the Duke, and especially the Duchess, could tell the difference. "Ugh!" cried the Duchess after she took a bite. "What is this?" roared the Duke. "Where is Walter the baker? Bring him here at once." Probably not going to be a good thing. So Walter was brought before the Duke. "What do you call this?" roared the Duke. "This is not a roll. This is a stone." And with that, he threw it at Walter. I think he's being reactive, don't y'all? "Pack your things and leave." Oh, wait a minute. I missed the sentence. "I used water instead of milk," Walter admitted, hanging his head in shame. "Pack your things and leave this town and my duchy forever," shouted the Duke. "I never want to see you again." So he is not seeking to understand, is he? "My Duke," pleaded Walter, "this is my home. Where will I go? Please give me one more chance. Please." So do you think he might seek to understand and give him one more chance? I love how Walter told the truth. "Oh, I must banish you," said the Duke. But then he remembered Walter's good rolls and how much he and the Duchess would miss them. "Well, Walter," the Duke started to say, and then he thought and thought some more. "You may stay if you can invent a roll through which the rising sun can shine 3 times. And to make it more difficult," he added, "it must be made from 1 piece of dough. And most of all, it must taste good. Now go home and bring me such a roll tomorrow morning." Well, poor Walter, worried and sad, he trudged back to his bakery. Walter worked all day and into the night. He made long rolls, short rolls, round rolls, twisted rolls. He made thin rolls. He made fat rolls. And he worked some more. Walter beat, pulled, pushed, and pounded the dough. But it was all in vain. That means it did not work. He could not make a roll like the king asked for. Oh my goodness. He could not come up with a roll that would please the Duke. Excuse me, the Duke, not the king. By early morning, Walter had only 1 long piece of dough left. "It's hopeless," he cried. In a sudden fit of anger, so he's being reactive too, he grabbed the last piece of dough and flung it against the ceiling. "Stick there," he yelled at the dough. But it didn't. It fell, twisting itself as it dropped down, and plopped into a pail of water. Anna and Walter Jr. were awakened by Walter's yell and rushed into the bakery just as Walter was about to dump out the water and the twisted piece of dough. "Father, stop!" shouted Walter Jr. "Look!" And Anna quickly popped the dough into the hot oven. Look, you're starting to get a little clue now. Soon it was brown and crisp. She took out the roll and handed it to Walter. It hadn't risen very high, but it had 3 holes. Risen is what happens to dough when you put yeast in it, and the yeast sort of grows inside and it gets bigger. Walter held up the twisted roll and smiled. He saw that the morning sun was shining through it 3 times. See, right here, 1, 2, 3. And that's what the king said. The morning sun had to shine through it 3 times. But what else? Does it taste good? That's the big question. Walter put the roll in a basket and rushed to the castle to deliver his invention to the Duke and Duchess. And they too saw the morning sun shine through it 3 times. Then the Duke and Duchess each took a small bite. Walter was afraid to look because he had no idea how it would taste. "Well done," said the Duke. "Perfect," exclaimed the Duchess. Both were glad that Walter would not have to be sent away because they wanted to keep on getting their rolls. And Walter, too, was happy. That he could stay. "Now, pray tell us, Walter, what do you call this?" asked the Duke. Yes, pray tell us. Pray us tell." I can't read, Walter stammered. So he was sort of having trouble saying it too, as he tried to come up with a name. "What was that? Pretzel," said the Duke. "Pretzel it shall be. From now on," he declared, "it shall be sweet rolls in the morning and pretzels in the afternoon." So it was when he said, "Pray us tell," that he came up with the pretzel. Walter returned to his bakery and spent all day and night making pretzels. The next morning, there were baskets of pretzels outside the store for the whole town to taste, and a special basket of pretzels for the Duke and Duchess. And a cheer went up for Walter, the pretzel maker. And the word pretzel comes from the Latin word brachium, meaning arm. The pretzel was originally a simple bread eaten during Lent, which is the time that Christians are celebrating right now. It ends on Sunday with Easter Sunday. Its shape is based on an ancient position of prayer in which the arms were folded across the chest and the hands were placed on opposite shoulders. So that's what it was called. That's why pretzels were called pretzels, is because it was like the way people prayed, with their arms across their chest and their hands on their shoulders. And I've got my pretzels right here, and mine are, I do have some sweet ones. We could have given those to the Duke in the morning, and then the ones with the salt on them in the afternoon. So enjoy. And oh, let me show you the back of the book. This is why I didn't do it before, is because it would have given it away. Walter, the baker, invented a roll that the sun can shine through 3 times. What do you think it is? Now, if I'd shown you that before I read you the book, that would have totally given it away. Enjoy.